Let's make sure that's the case over on Rumble, of course. And yes, Happy New Year to you, Moskvich, as well, over on Rumble. We've got a... Oh, God. Sometimes this resizes itself, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. There, we got it corrected. Windows 11. What a wonderful, remarkable technological advancement over XP, which was so straightforward. Hell, even Vista worked better. Windows 10 is capable of being retrofitted. With Windows 11, you're going to have some dysfunction no matter what you do. You can turn off the telemetry and all of these things, but it takes a little bit more effort than with Windows 10. Windows 10 can effectively be turned into Windows 7 if you know what you're doing. And it only takes about 20 minutes. With Windows 11, it takes a couple of hours, and it's not complete. Yeah, we've got a clanky new year. It is now 2026. Which means we got to talk about Zoran Mamdani and his absolutely frenetic induction in as New York City mayor. I did cover this morning to some extent, but I wanted to ramble about it a little bit more because it's just so far beyond the pale. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't even know what he's trying to accomplish by having this kind of particular ceremony. It was weird. We'll be talking about it. Also, then we've got to talk about Tim Walz and his, going after fraud allegations, because that's a big thing. Ro Khanna is now feuding with Gavin Newsom, which is absolutely hilarious. And then we've got the story about the Jesus painting, actually, that was auctioned off for more than $2.5 million last night for St. Jude's and the local sheriff's office, by the way, by Donald Trump himself. I'm assuming that the artist got paid for this. I have a feeling that there was probably payment involved, but that's a lot of money for charity. So, if you're doing it for charitable works, I don't really see the problem with it. By the way, I have one link missing, actually. Unfortunately, it is not actually on my browser at all. This happens sometimes. Sometimes I make mistakes. So do we all. So yeah, we'll be talking about Mamdani first, because it's like, I don't even know what the dude is seeking to accomplish at this point. So yeah, alienate 90% of the voter base, and do it effortlessly. You're speed running your own political destruction. I found this very, very funny. Clazo, what are your thoughts on Jesus? Assuming that this individual was not invented by the Romans for the purposes of suppressing Jewish rebellion, sounds like a pretty cool guy to me, actually. I told people, hey, take care of the old, the poor, the people that are helpless. Why don't you do that? I noticed that a lot of so-called Christian churches do not do this. That's because the low church movement that was trying to do so was replaced by the ritualistic high church movement. We'll probably end up getting into that at some point today. We often do. Ruron, Happy New Year, Sticks. Sincerely wishing you a great new year. Over the 10 years I've watched, your content has been very helpful. Thank you very much, and a Happy New Year's to you. Yeah, NKFD, Jesus is just alright with me. Good song, by the way. That's basically the way that I think. Assuming that this particular figure was anything like he's portrayed, sounds like a charitable, kind, good, decent individual. We're just not sure that historically this isn't based on some transmogrification of Mithra or Sol Invictus or something like that. Not 100% sure, actually. Let's talk about Mamdani. Definitely not like Jesus. We'll put it bluntly here. Mamdani becomes the new mayor of New York City. He decides to be sworn in an abandoned transit station, swearing in on the Quran. Guess who swore him in? For those that didn't actually see it, maybe you were already passed out by that point, in New Year's and all, by Letitia James, who will probably be in a cell fairly soon. This is beyond the pale in virtually every possible way. It does not make sense. It doesn't make sense politically. It doesn't make sense pragmatically. it appears to be nothing more than attention-seeking, more than anything else. That appears to be the only goal that they particularly had in mind. We're the resistance, hashtag resist Trump. That appears to be what they were going with. The problem is that Mamdani is a mayor. He is not capable of affecting wider policy in the United States, especially when you consider that most of the nation is still comprised of either people that are Christian or people that are irreligious. I thought that liberals wanted to get religion out of politics. So why is he being sworn in on the Quran? If he were sworn in on the King James Bible and said, like, "Hail Jesus," or something like that, then these same people that are congratulating him and saying, "Oh, yay, great, we've got a religious," which is quite what he is, mayor now, they would be condemning it. They would be saying that it was wrong. Separation of church and state and all of these things. Even though, yeah, you are allowed to be religious and hold office, and this has never really been a thing, legally speaking. But the fact that he happens to be BIPOC, to an extent, he's still white, and that he practices Islamofascism instead of moralistic, Bible-thumping Christianity, all of a sudden it's perfectly fine. As long as he's a socialist, giving us welfare crumbs. He will fail, and I will tell you exactly why. Should he go forward with the policies, $30 ground minimum wage, rent freeze, subsidized housing, more room for illegal immigrants, and all of these other socialistic policies that he's proclaiming, because he's a commie. If he goes forward with them, it will wreck the economy of the largest city in the United States. It will cripple it. It will be absolutely crushed. That is a guarantee. Should he not go through with it, all of the leftoids that voted for him will abandon ship very quickly, consider him the next Bernie Sanders, abandoning him politically, and he won't get reelected. I don't think that Mamdani is going to get a second term, because it really doesn't matter what he does. In fact, he's almost in a thankless position. I almost feel sorry for the stupid commie bastard. Because it doesn't matter if he goes through with his plans or not. It literally makes no difference. Millions of people that voted for him will abandon him regardless. Well, there you go. There's your one-term mayorship, because that's probably all that you're going to get. It's hysterical, actually. I mean, it would be funny if regular average, like working class people weren't going to suffer regardless of what he does. Because either you're going to get leftists rioting, which they like to do anyway, so then, you know, you've lost a couple business fronts to Molotov cocktails and stuff like that. Or he follows through and he wrecks the economy so completely that millions of people are put out of work, dispossessed of housing, and generally screwed up with prices skyrocketing through the roof. New York City will become a wasteland. The largest city in the United States, one of the largest and most iconic in the goddamn world, will become an uninhabitable hellhole and look like Mogadishu, basically. That's assuming he goes through with the policies. The opposite is just that the leftoids decide to destroy a bunch of storefronts and randomly assault people. They're very, very good at that when they're in crowds. They're not so good at it one-on-one. I saw a video actually earlier where some dude, some Antifa member assaulted him, and he fucking decked him and several other people around before the cops finally broke it up. It was pretty satisfying. Just saying. If more people reacted violently to the violence of Antifa and to certain commie groups, it would be a better world. Ruron Sticks says, this is a new year. Can we please have 2026 an anti-black pill, anti-dooming video and commentary? Yes, I will make that tomorrow. Honestly, I cannot stand the perpetual doom and gloom. Everything will be fine if we make it fine. That would be my advice. So, yeah, Mom, I hate how they call him a socialist. He's beyond that. He's a literal commie. I mean, he's quoting Karl Marx, several times. That's not socialism. That's communism. It's self-professed communism. Socialism was openly declared to be simply a stepping stone towards communism by the relatively laid-back Leninists way, way back 100 years ago. They told you exactly what they wanted. They told you over and over again. We used to understand this back in the 40s and 50s, like with the Cold War era, the early Cold War. We understood this. Duck and cover, someone's rambling about unions all the time, they may be a communist. This was always true. The truth was being told in the 1950s and 60s. It's no longer told anymore. Now we act like these groups are innocuous. There's nothing really wrong with being a socialist, other than the fact that one of the leaders of early stage communism openly suggested that it was going to be used as a stepping stone to obtain communism. This is canonical. I mean, it's literally there. We've got the fucking videos of the speeches. We have the write-ups. We have everything that we could possibly use to deduce that this is actually what is the intent. Socialism is never to be just socialism. It's meant to be a stepping stone. Get the population used to the welfare breadcrumbs and the subsidies and the regulation and all of these things, and then you jump into full communism. But you don't do it at the barrel of a gun. You do it by getting people hooked to the heroin that is the welfare state. That's basically the only difference. There's no such thing as democratic socialism. Democratic socialism is socialism with an extra step. It's a long game as opposed to a short game activity. That's the only difference. Uncloudy, it's funny, even Hochul actually is not a fan of Mamdani. He's going in hard, and without lube, by the way. But yeah, to Ruron, I will make an anti-black pill video tomorrow. I think people could probably use it. We're ringing in the new year and stuff like that. I myself am not black-pilled in any way, shape, or form. Connect 200. There are commentators on our side who are preaching black pill so people don't turn out. If Dems get full power, there will not be a second chance. Yeah, this is definitely an anti-black pill channel, just to be clear. Val de Gold, you've got a good point there. Socialism is the genesis of normalized slavery. In fact, you are correct. Socialism gets you addicted. What happens when a person is addicted to, let's say, heroin? Oh man, I'm just going to use it one more time. I'm chasing the dragon. Oh, I'm boofing it up my ass now. Now I'm injecting it and shit. Now I'm snorting it too as a powdered substance. Which all forms are actually used, and some are more dangerous than others. You get someone steadily more and more addicted, and they'll need more and more of it. Otherwise, they don't have what they want. Communism is basically just the end stage of the addiction to socialism. Nothing more, nothing less. It is exactly that way. Now, don't be black-pilled. Do not worry too much about this, because based on what we saw from Mamdani, literally in the first hour of his mayorship, he's going to fail. He's going to collapse entirely. Probably on drugs too, but commies love their drugs. They usually import them from the Soviet Union, aka Russia, or maybe China. Made in China. Heroin. made in China. Fentanyl. Yeah, snort this shit, kids. It's good for you and has vitamins and shit. Mamdani is going to be a spectacular failure. If anything, I'm almost glad he got elected. The people of New York City are quickly going to freeze over with regards to their original warmth to this individual. They will realize that he cannot do a good job and is either incapable of doing the things that he wants to do, or says he wants to do, or he will actually do them and they will destroy the economy. Once you have 30% unemployment and a collapsing economy with twice the price hikes, they'll probably originally try to blame Trump. Somehow he's responsible for everything that happens in New York City. It'll be funny. Mamdani is more likely, though, to attack Kathy Hochul, actually. They've already had some sparring going on. When you get sworn in by Letitia James on the Quran in an abandoned subway station, you're kind of making a political statement at that point now, aren't you? That's exactly what he was doing. He was playing it up to the far left. This shows that he might actually be serious about going forth with these policies. You're going to chase every renter out of New York City. Nobody's going to want to rent to anyone. So now you've got, white flight, they'll call it probably. It's going to be another Detroit. They're going to turn New York City into a gigantic version of Detroit. Detroit used to be the Paris of the West. They used to call it that. That was basically its moniker. Then you had people leaving because of soaring crime rates, poverty, unemployment, lack of industry. Exactly what you're probably going to get with New York City, assuming that Mamdani is successful at his policies. I can't even fathom it. Dude, you're going to create a Detroit that's 10 times larger. Actually, more than that, 20 times larger, actually, because the Detroit population has declined so much. There's probably a reason for that. It's the same socialist policies. They rot a city from the inside out, or a state, or a nation, or whatever. They rot it. And it makes it just fucking falls apart. It just rots away. Mr. Detroit is leagues better than it used to be, and you need to recognize. Yeah, if you stay to the downtown region, it's actually a pretty nice place. If you go to the Fort Wayne Airport, it's actually pretty good too. Very orderly, very clean, and streamlined, and actually it's my favorite airport that I've ever been in. But at the same time, Detroit still does have problems. If you go to the North End or something like that, Highland Park, where Eminem was growing up, yeah, there's still some crime there. It's going to be 1,000 times worse in a city the size of New York. And it's going to be absolutely terrible. It's going to look like the 1970s, basically, on steroids. It's going to be pretty bad. Ruran. Sticks, I imagine the Democrats in leadership will turn on him eventually. Mamdani will be a political headache for them. Yeah, that's the silver lining of this dark cloud. Massive tax hikes, rent freezes will cause massive problems. Yeah, the one, oh, by the way, Xiong Mares, I did get your letter. I've got it in front of me right now. I thank you very much. That was very kind of you. And I'll, maybe talk about that further. But, yes, indeed, the Western world cannot really cope with communism. We've tried it before. Well, we didn't, but the Eastern Bloc countries did. It just doesn't work. China only succeeds because they tempered communism with a facade of capitalism, basically. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You don't have any really regulations at all as long as you suck Xi Jinping's cock. Parlock. Socialism is the economic equivalent of heroin. Yeah. Only without the high. How sad. Very, very sad. I feel sorry for I don't even feel sorry for our generation. I feel sorry for the younger ones for having to deal with this bullshit. Let's get to our sponsors before we get to the rest of the news. There's not a huge amount of news today. Most of it's like, Mamdani, that's obviously, front row and center. We do have to talk about Walz. And then when Kanna is attacking a fellow liberal, you know that you fucked up. I realize that it's opportunistic, but at the same time, yeah. For him to get to that point, even opportunistically, you really have screwed the pooch. Gavin Newsom is now toast. He will not be the Democratic nominee in the next election. I can assure you of that 100% chance. I still think they're going to go with a dark horse candidate. Kanna is probably the only one that's actually, of the non-dark horse candidates, he'd probably be the one that's most actionable, actually. That's going some. First and foremost, we have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills. They will increase your vitality. They will make your hair look luxurious like mine. Oh my. A bit of a Stolas reference there. Also, there is Doggy Dose, which I call Doggo Dose. Cats appear to like it almost as much as the dogs do, actually. Had a bag, and I was in New York City, ironically enough, because of the Mamdani thing. And the dog was like straight up staring at the bag, like wouldn't leave it alone. Every time I go into the kitchen, the dog is like staring sadly at me, asking for more of them. It will increase their vitality and their longevity as well. It improves health. It's made with 6 dual-activated mushroom extracts. But cats like it too. You just have to crumble it up a little bit more finely for them to eat it. They vacuum that shit up real quick. We have BiltongUSA.com. Anytime Anton, or Biltong, is mentioned, we must have Bovrite, one of his many imports. Too salty, he will opine. He will still be wrong. Also Vegemite. Many other imports as well. And then this lid, well, there we go. Alright. I was having a problem there for a moment. I was being like John Fetterman when he was having his stroke. Also, you've got biltong, the actual meat, wagyu, Angus, venison, bison, cabanassi, Throywurst, and a bunch of others as well. Also, Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts are available. Use code STICKS for 10% off. And finally, jamandbean.com. It's my daily opportunity to smell this bag of coffee. And it is delicious. We've got Clanker Blend. There's the Costa Rica Blend. I think that's my second favorite. It has a little bit of lighter notes, actually. This is more of a regular medium coffee. That's why I chose this out of the batch that was sent as samples. And it's really, really good. It's definitely not the kind of coffee that you get in a gas station or something like that. Also, various teas are available as well. Pirate's Plunder, which is hysterical. Yunnan Jig, green teas, black teas. You got a little bit of everything with Jam and Bean, so you should definitely check them out as well. Always good as a gift for someone's birthday or for any holiday event. Everyone likes coffee, unless they're retarded. Pallid Mask, where do you get that real coffee that's thick like mud? I don't know what that refers to, but you can thicken coffee, actually. You can thicken it with cocoa. You can thicken it, technically, you could use roux if you really wanted to. It'd make like a coffee bean soup, I suppose. That would be a little bit odd, but, you know, whatever you're into. We're on Sticks. I cannot stress the importance of the 2026 primaries, as most know. This is truly the opportunity for potentially populist candidates. In general, it's either R or D. Yeah, I would agree with you to a major extent there. Yeah, the primaries are always more important anyway than the generals, because it was like, you think about the election between Obama and Romney. Now, Obama and Romney, Obama the incumbent at the time, won the primaries. If you had had a Republican in 2012 that was actually sane, you probably could have knocked Obama off the pedestal. Instead, the GOP ran with Romney, which was a bad idea. Not that they had many other qualified candidates either. This happens to be a problem with the GOP on a constant basis. But yeah, I mean, in the last month of the election, he wasn't even campaigning. He ignored the race. He disappeared. I didn't see anything about him in the last month, hardly. I think he did a couple of interviews. That's pretty much it. And this happens. Let's see. Chris Williams, Escape from New York will become real. I don't know that I've ever seen that movie. Is that movie with the gangs in New York? No, I don't think that's the same movie. No, it's definitely... What's that 70s movie that's placed in New York and it's about the gangs? And there's like that one scene where there's that one gang that attacks them with baseball bats and has face paint on. And then in the end, the other gang that was trying to frame them for killing like a leader that wanted to unite all the gangs... They, in turn, got all killed because they realized that it was bullshit. The Warriors! Yes, The Warriors. Great movie, by the way. You should watch it. I think that was 79 or something like that. That's back when New York City had a spiraling crime crisis. Zoan 4398. Sticks, is that a low sodium salt alternative? I'm trying to cut back. Yeah, you could actually use Bovrite for that. In fact, I think there's barely any sodium in it. Yeah, there's like a milligram of sodium in this per serving. So you could eat the whole thing and it would still be low salt. But it tastes salty. Bovrite was mentioned. It's a yeast extract. It tastes like salt, but it's not salty, technically. It's very strange. You can also use that as a base in your beef soup or stew. Orchid Finance, the Warriors. Yeah, the Warriors is great. Girl of the Valley is orgasming at the moment. Why do I get the feeling that might not actually be not the case? Happens all the time. Trump targets Minnesota fraud allegations, says, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Well, I don't think that you want to get to Tim Walz's bottom. Yeah, that's definitely an orgasm, preventer. Talking about Mr. Pillsbury Doughboy himself. He doesn't have an idea what the fuck is going on. He's in over his head. What originally was a few $100 million, I mean, that's already big. But on a national scale, it's like, happens all the time. But now it's $9 billion. Oh, wait till we talk about Kanna and his allegations against Gavin Newsom with regards to fraud in California. $9 billion is now nothing. It's happening all over the place. Overall, if you were to adjust, like, for per capita, and look at all of the states, and assume a reasonably similar level of fraud and abuse, you're talking about at least $500 billion a year. Minimum. $500 billion. 500 billion. That would be the basement level. It's probably a lot higher than that. Sign of Jonah. Talk about Tim Walz's bottom, and I'll place a hex on you. Yeah, the ultimate male feminist. Cam2425 is here. We've got Sean Marais. We've got all of the... Glass Beacon is here. We've got all of the regulars. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, this story has gone off the rails, though. I mean, within the course of a couple of weeks, we've found that the fraud is... What is it, like 70 times as much as we originally anticipated? And keep in mind, a lot of this is federal funding. That means that your tax dollars went to this even if you weren't in the state of Minnesota. The Biden administration ignored it. By the way, I have a feeling it's going to extend to that level. It's not Tim Walz's fault, actually. He was just the enabler. It's actually the Biden administration's fault. Nothing will be done about that, of course, because then it'll be seen as retaliatory, and Trump, I think, knows better. But Tim Walz, his goose is cooked. He won't be back in politics for very long. Just tell us, we love the Hex and Hammers in Lincolnton, North Carolina. Thank you very much. I love you too. Moskvich, why is my local warlord driving around in a Porsche, and why does it have a Minnesota state flag on the side? See, that's the thing. I mean, this is naked vote buying more than anything else. Walz looked the other way, while money was funneled back and forth between Somalia and the United States to the tune of billions of dollars. Most of these transfers, you're never going to know anything about them. It's probably way more than $9 billion. It's probably more like 90 billion or something like that. These were nothing more than shell companies. It's funny because liberals are normally the ones that complain about this sort of corporatism. In this particular case, though, they are saying nothing. Why? Because the people that were running these firms happen to be BIPOC. And for no other purpose. Quite literally, that's the only reason they're not complaining about it and saying, well, if you complain about it, then you're racist, basically. These white NIMBYist liberals do not understand what they are talking about. Inner City Pigeon. Tim Walz's son takes after his father. Oh, is his son? Oh, God. Well, this I gotta see. I didn't even know he had a son. Gus Walz. Hmm. Oh, yeah. Nonverbal learning disorder, ADHD, and anxiety, advocating for disability awareness. Alrighty. Yeah, he looks messed up. Whatever. Who cares? Runs in the family. Tim Walz has some problems too. I can understand having anxiety and ADHD and things like that, but you gotta buck up at some point, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and actually do something productive for society. I live with neurodivergence, as the liberals would call it. But I don't use that term because I don't consider myself to be a special snowflake. I'm not a snowflake at all. I'm a goddamn fireball. And I'm going to ram myself into the world as hard as possible before I'm gone. Sometimes people have differences of opinion with regards to personal behavior. We're on. Sticks, do you think Mamdani is going to cause, for the first time in decades, Republicans to win New York in the near future? Not sure the governorship will be run by Republicans this year, though. It'll take time, but as he inevitably fails, he's either going to wipe out the neoliberal population as far as, their support for the Dems, or he's going to lose the support of the far left. So it is inevitable. New York City probably will fall to the Republicans in the next election. In fact, I'm willing to predict it. Because there's no chance that he could possibly succeed, because it doesn't matter what he does. Fireproof cranes. They call me neurotic. I call myself philosopher. Yeah, I prefer the term eccentric. Of course I am. Yeah, I'm fucking nuts, dude. But I'm also highly intelligent and very skilled. I'm not going to humble brag about this. Yeah, I say and do weird shit sometimes, and yeah, I'm not exactly the person that you want to invite to the college party or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Being more of an introvert, a loner, I prefer to spend an evening listening to music and reading a book or something like that. I'll make some tea. Or maybe I'll go cook or something. I have a very, very small group of people, very, very insular, that I get along with very well. Other than that, if I meet someone in public and they're like, oh, it Sticks. Yeah, I'll shake your hand, talk to you for a minute and stuff like that. But it's very difficult for me to be in fully social situations, so to speak. I don't like crowds. I'm not interested in parties. I have no interest in them whatsoever. 359 Cuban. Fun fact, January 6th is Cuban Christmas. Oh, that's pretty cool. I guess we can celebrate that too. Any time you can celebrate by having a good meal, yeah, just take it. Is there a day of the year that is not a holiday in some country? Because I have a feeling that the answer is no. And I'm not talking minor holidays, I'm talking ones that are like feast days and stuff. Ha ha ha! Mike McNair, dude, you are far from highly intelligent. You're just the result of being terminally online. You cut and paste works to Amazon and call yourself an editor. Keep kidding yourself. Okay, yeah, alright. Dismissed. You may go about your meaningless business. You can go and, why don't you make me a hamburger, bitch? How about that? I can tell the usual crowd of idiots is starting to file in. It's pretty funny. Bye, Xora. Spike. On Angela Rowe's video on YouTube, yeah, I saw that one with the Jesus thing. The same white van that dropped multiple kids after Nick's video is seen sitting in front of the Leering Center, operating as a restaurant in the same building. Kind of funny. Oh, yeah, that's Angela Rose. Sorry, I confused that with the Jesus story, actually. We'll be talking about that separately. Troll alert! Happens all the time. I'm used to it. I've been on the internet, yeah, terminally. Technically speaking, that claim is true. For a very, very long time. It's just, I wish the trolls had enough intelligence to actually find something legitimate to criticize. That's what makes it funny. Hey, your book fucking sucks. Well, if you simply say I'm copying and pasting books, which has never happened, because they are all fully hand-edited, that's not funny. It's not even an insult. Why don't you insult my writing and say, like, you post deranged shit and people buy it because they're retards or something like that? That would be funny, or at least mildly amusing. That's how you do it. I don't understand. Whatever. 5 days till Patriots Day. That sounds good to me. Hopefully it's real patriotism instead of the Patriot Act. Yeah, that was a big problem. Now we've got to deal with a Democratic infight. Yes, indeed. And this is probably related to the upcoming presidential elections. Kanna decided to go after California officials and Gavin Newsom in the same sense over $72 billion of fraud. Yep. 72 billion with a B. Yes, indeed. Kanna is leading an oversight committee now to try to go after this. He's doing this to try to kneecap Gavin Newsom. We all, this is obvious. There's a 100% chance of this. It doesn't take a fucking genius to figure it out. But it's still useful. I mean, because Kanna, who is actually reasonably sane, by Democratic Party standards, I suppose. At the very least, he is attempting to get to the bottom of this particular enormous amount of fraud. Whereas California officials, they don't really care about it. So if you've got $9 billion in Minnesota, $72 billion would tack along population-wise, roughly, with California. So I believe the claim. It looks like it's at least $72 billion, though. It might be higher. It might be higher in Minnesota, too. Kanna is not a sane man. He is still a leftoid. He's sort of more like a Manchin or a Fetterman, though. There are times when his coherence, his ability to think for himself, actually comes through. This is not the case with somebody like Bernie Sanders, Mamdani, Gavin Newsom, who's literally just a greasy used car salesman. He's not even a leftist. He's just a used car salesman who lies constantly and is a hypocrite. But Kanna is now crucifying him. This is going to be a real big problem for Gavin Newsom. I have a feeling one of two things is happening here. Either Kanna wants to run for that office, and so he's trying to take Gavin Newsom out because he's probably, Kamala's not going to do anything. We all know this too. Gavin Newsom is one of the more believable people that he would potentially have to go against, so that's a possibility. Or, at the same time, he could simply be debilitating him in order to allow somebody else to come in the field. Mainly the dark horse candidate that I've talked about over and over again that I suspect the Democrats are going to end up running. Because there's no way that Newsom can go up against Vance. That's not going to be possible unless the economy outright collapses. Kamala probably is uninclined to run. If she did, I think she would lose too. Buttigieg is a distant third and doesn't, look at the East Palestine incident. Can you call fodder for what it is? Yeah, that'll go over real well. Hey, former transport secretary, why did you not visit this massive rail disaster before the former president did? That'll go over real well. So I still suspect they'll have a dark horse candidate. Now, Kanna may have presidential ambitions. It is possible. But he could also be effectively attempting to pick people off of the table because there's a plan going on. Yes, a plan to get some dark horse candidate in there, basically. It's strategy 101. It would make sense. You have him come out, destroy Gavin Newsom, destroy Kamala Harris. If he starts doing that, by the way, we will know that that plan is absolutely being utilized. I suspect that it is anyway, regardless. And then, of course, the inevitable comes. I still think that Vance would be probably likely to prevail. He's a meme master. He's pretty good with his messaging. He's well spoken. I think that he can carry him. But that relies upon the Trump administration not sucking ass. If it keeps doing a reasonably good job, I don't think there will be any problem. I think the GOP will carry the executive branch. I don't think that it'll be an issue at all. But, anything can and does happen with the economy and with war and everything else unforeseen, or engineered. So we'll see what happens. Pre-59 Cuban, alcohol and bullets are real currency. Exactly. Ruron Sticks, I'm certain President Trump was hilariously trolling Canada by claiming they would become the 51st state. Do you think this could or would happen? Territory status, maybe? In theory, it could, but the people of Canada would have to officially petition, and then Congress would have to accept it. That's why we still have territories instead of states, like with Puerto Rico and Guam and stuff like that. They have to officially petition and have enough votes, with enough of the population voting, in order to actually attain statehood. The Republicans don't want Puerto Rico in, for unknown reasons at this point. Democrats don't want them in either. They see them as slaves. Meanwhile, those people can move to any other state. They're still citizens anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. Spike. Several blue states, California, Illinois, New York, are using a loophole to block the new OT and tips on taxes rule for state. Basically, the state is going to claim their deduction and keep it. Pure fucking evil. Yeah, I did see that. There are a number of states that are effectively, they're absorbing the tax on tips. Because at the federal level, you don't have to pay taxes on tips. But some states have decided, well, then we'll take the money. Now, wonderful. So in other words, a bunch of blue states have decided that somebody who literally fucking makes hot dogs for a living for people or cooks French fries needs to be taxed more. Wow. Yeah, there's your blue state mentality right there. You'll notice it's not happening in red states. Just saying. Which is hysterical. Yeah, Oscar Gonzalez, yeah, as far as Gavin Newsom goes, this dude is clearly hopped up on amphetamine. Between the jiggling around and random gesticulation and stuff, unless he's severely mentally ill, he's on drugs. It's pretty fucking clear. He just doesn't use too many of them. That way he doesn't collapse an anaphylactic shock or something like that. Lunar Eclipse Reborn. Sticks, do you think that Mamdani is practicing Islamic deception, commonly known as taqiyya? I've heard of that before. I've studied it. No, I do not believe so. I think that he's using Islam as a shield to try to woo voters. What I would ask the other voters in New York City, how is this any different from the same moralistic Bible-thumping bullshit that we've seen from Christian politicians who have effectively done the same thing? Oh, Lord Jesus, please let me get elected. Lord Jesus, with this book I shall conquer. This is the Book of Common Prayer, by the way. This is not a Bible thumper's book. This is the Psalms and Proverbs and other things like that. Low church movement, fortunately, mostly extinct at this point. It's very, very sad. You have to go out to rural areas with hillbillies in order to find it in the United States. People would thump the Bible. This was a big thing in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, by the way. Well into the 2000s. Oh, Lord Jesus, please give me more money, and shit like that. And these people were all hopped up, and they would use coke and stuff like that, and some of them, like Haggard and Peter Popoff, they got outed for, scams and drug use and prostitution and all the other stuff that they were doing. How is this any different simply because you've swapped out the Bible for a Koran? How is it any different? I don't see the difference. It's still just a religious book. Just saying. Mystery Purpose. Hi, y'all. Well, hello to you, too. Yeah, Girl of the Valley. I mean, yeah, takia is effectively it's the concept of willfully deceiving other people in order to advance the cause of Islam. It's used as a weaponized mechanism, actually. It is a real thing, by the way. Some people are too politically correct to admit that it's still actually in action today. But it is still being used. I would note that a lot of the people that refuse to assume that that is actually happening have no problem saying, well, according to, what is it, the Midrash, I think, Jews do the same thing, deliberately deceiving the Goyim. Christians effectively do the same thing. Everyone does the same thing. Deception is, part of the art of warfare. It can be physical, or it can be mental, or it can be psychological. Happens all the time. But in Islam, it is officially codified into the religion. It has a term, taqiyya. It actually does exist. I mean, deception happens in non-religious circumstances too, but in this particular case, that's what we're dealing with. So yeah, now Kanna is fighting Gavin Newsom, it seems, and this is it's so far beyond the pale. The Democratic Party is the one that's imploding. The GOP won't be far behind, though. Any time that the Democrats make a mistake, the GOP will look for a way to make a bigger mistake. We've seen this multiple times over the last couple of years. And that's just the last couple of years. Just imagine the last decade and a half of political commentary from this channel. The GOP is handed a gift. They throw it off to the side and then they just jump in the river and drown themselves or something. They do this over and over again. It happens over and over. I mean, it's inexplicable. How can a party be so dumb? I don't know. They used to say the Democrats are the evil party, the Republicans are the dumb party. Now, the Democrats are trying to compete to be dumb, and the Republicans, realizing that they're being outflanked on dumbness, are trying to double down on their dumbness. I've never seen anything like this in all of my analytical history. And it's been a while. Like, I was in my teens when I started doing this shit. And I can't even express how... I don't even know. It's impossible for me to even explain at this point. I mean, it's like, they're all retards. Ubuk is here. And Last Beacon is rambling about hamburgers. Last Beacon, come on. If you want to do a super chat and say hamburger over and over, that's fine. I'm going to have to mute you if you continue to simply talk about hamburgers. I'm no longer dealing with that sort of thing on my channels. That's why I have moderators now on YouTube, actually. I just ask them to tell me when they choose to ban someone. Oscar Gonzalez, Girl of the Valley, and so forth. As long as I am told that a person has been muted, preferably temporarily. I'm the only one who should be outright banning somebody. And I save that for very special instances. Just saying. R. Kelly Doo-Doo Butter. YouTube censors the word fat if you use it as an adjective. In my case, it was referring to Kathy Hochul. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know, is she fat? Let's look up Kathy Hochul and see if she's fat. No, I wouldn't call her fat. Actually, I'd call her more of a withered stick insect. She's a withered stick insect more than anything else. All dried up and retarded. Yeah. Yeah, she looks more like a fucking corpse that is still cognizant enough to wear clothing. That's pretty funny. Girl of the Valley, she's regular, I think. She's a little bit more withered than that. Here, we took a skeleton, put a brain in its head, I mean, it doesn't function very well, and then we slapped a coat of skin on it. And it's kind of animate, but not really, it sort of lumbers around like a ghoul. Yeah, that's Kathy Hochul's future. Um, honestly, goddamn, I think Mamdani is the more sane of the two in some ways. Again, when we're talking about politics, sometimes you are so incredulous that you don't even know what the hell is going on. It doesn't matter how many years you analyze this shit or how much prescience you have. Sometimes you're going to see things that boggle your goddamn mind. This is one of them, with Mamdani and Hochul attacking each other, and then Newsom and fucking Kanna are attacking each other. And then the GOP is trying to attack itself. They do this on a regular basis. What are you people doing? What's wrong with you? It would be so easy if you had one person who was reasonably coherent, reasonably charismatic, and didn't look like a pile of shit or act like one. It would be so easy for them to take authoritarian, goddamn dictatorial command of the whole fucking country at this point. Because all of the other people that would comprise Congress and the judiciary and everything, they're just a bunch of morons. They're a bunch of retards. I mean, we're one step away from having an actual dictator in this country. Right now we suffer under an oligarchy. Honestly, I don't know which is worse. I think I'd rather have a Napoleonic figure than what we have right now. Honestly, I really do believe that. It makes absolutely no sense. Whatever. Trump auctions off Jesus painting for $2.75 million in front of Netanyahu. He got so trolled, that homo. And MAGA loyalists at Mar-a-Lago New Year's Eve bash. Yes, there was a speed painting, actually. And if you watch it, it only takes about 20 minutes to make this painting. And it's really, really good, by the way. At first, it doesn't look like much, and Trump was watching the whole thing with rapt attention. President Donald Trump rang in New Year at his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, Florida, by presiding over a charity auction at which he sold off a portrait of Jesus Christ for $2.75 million. Clearly enjoying himself hosting the black tie gala, he was. Trump said the money raised from the work, which was painted live at the event in around 10 minutes, it was a little bit more than 10 minutes, but pretty close, by Christian worship artist and Instagram celebrity Vanessa Horobuena, would be donated to St. Jude's Hospital and the local sheriff's office. It's the latter that's pissing the liberals off. How dare you, says Greta Thunberg. How dare you give money to the sheriff's office? Oh my god. They don't like St. Jude's either because it's a Christian charity network. They're not really fans of these things. So yeah, screw the leukemia kids. You know, St. Jude's is actually trying to save little kids' lives, but they're not allowed to get money because it's a Christian charity. If he had really wanted to troll him, he would have had a portrait of Muhammad painted. I mean, you're not supposed to have pictures of Muhammad. It's graven image mode. But he would sell that off, and then he would donate it to, like, you know, the Red Crescent charity or something like that. That would scramble their minds like goddamn eggs on a hot stove. Oh, it would have been hysterical. He should have done that instead. I think he preferred to actually do good instead of trolling people. For once, Trump is an excellent troll. I think that they should do that again. They should have another charity event, maybe on Trump's next birthday or something. They'll donate to some Islamic charity. And it will absolutely fry the minds of every liberal in the country. They won't be able to conceive of it. The conception is simply not there. Oh man, that would be fucking funny as hell. That would be so great. No hamburgers allowed. Moskvich, Greta has nice tits for a retard. Most of those photos, if I remember correctly, are shoot, actually. And, I mean, the fact that a chick has good boobs, or a good ass, or something like that, do you really want to have to lay next to her after you do the deed, and have to listen to her pontificating about philosophical subjects? No, thank you. I've had this experience before. I've been with people that are highly attractive, but then they will drive you absolutely insane. It's like, you know, that was a good 10-minute fuck. Now I've got 10 hours of having to listen to your bullshit. Yeah, wonderful. Not worth it, dude. When you get older, I don't know how old you are, but when you get older, you'll realize. Funny Kitty 22 sticks for April Fools. You should put on the pink wig and tell everyone you're woke now. Say things like only trans people aren't racist. Communism is the answer and trans women are the hottest. Yeah, the problem is no one would believe it. Not at this point. Damn it. That would be funny if I could pull it off. Fish and chimps. I'd make myself death. Yeah. Yeah, there are plenty of hot girls in the world. But not all of them are sane or intelligent. I have a system. I know usually people use the trifecta system, but I believe that it's more of a foursquare. There are 4 things that a person can fulfill. They will never fulfill all 4. That's called finding a unicorn. Either they're intelligent or unintelligent, and, you know, there are gradients of that, but, I mean, sane or insane, I suppose you could say. Well, sane and insane is technically a second category. Intelligence, of course, is not necessarily correlated with that. Skilled or unskilled, and attractive or unattractive. Now, this is semi-malleable. Sometimes a person has attractive, feelings towards someone who generally wouldn't be found attractive by the average person. Or they find someone unattractive because of their personality or something like that, even though they're a bombshell. Just look at Johnny Depp's ex-wife. Yeah, you're really hot, but you are fucking ugly on the inside. Just saying, considering what you did. This happens all the time. You can have 3 of these nodes at most. You cannot have all 4. There is no human being in the world who has all 4 of them. For example, I am not physically attractive in the general sense. I know that some people are enthralled by my particular aesthetic. Understood. And I'm not butt ugly, but I know that I'm not beautiful or I'm not Adonis or any fucking shit like that. Who cares? But I am very intelligent. I am extremely skilled, and I'm not going to humble brag about the fact that I fulfill those 2 nodes. It also helps if you have a good income, by the way. But I'm not beautiful. Physically speaking, I don't look like Hercules, so to speak. Yeah, exactly. R. Kelly doo-doo butter. Stop fetishizing Greta Thunberg. Yeah, I do get upset at that sometimes because people are like, oh, she's cute. Can you imagine if you had sex with Greta Thunberg and she was making that demented autism face while you were trying to come? I don't think that would work for the average dude. You'd have to put in some effort. And maybe she's just really good in bed in every other way, but you'd probably have to wear a blindfold. Just saying. Yeah, put on that blindfold and taste that vegan pussy. Ha ha ha. Primal Werewolf. There's a good song by Artemas, actually. It's like a dance song. I Like the Way You Kiss Me. And there's one line in it which is like, I'll hit you from the back just so we don't get attached. Pretty good song, actually. Robbie Star, hit this gym, Sticks. You're tall as fuck. Awaken the Anglo-Saxon inside you. I don't want to be all muscly. I like being a thin, skinny dude. I like looking more like Jack Skellington decided to join a pirate crew, actually. Moskvich, not like we all get to plow a supermodel. I've plowed a model before, among other things. Actually, virtually every girl that I've ever been with has been far more attractive than me. I don't know what they see in me. Charismatic, yeah. Have a good income, yeah. But I'm nothing to look at, dude. Come on. I've got realistic standards for myself. I am not beautiful. I am average. I am mid. I'm well aware of this fact. If I dress right, I clean up well. That's basically the only thing that I can say about my physical appearance. I clean up well. You know, as long as I don't get lazy and stop shaving and things like that. But it's all good. Nobody cares. Everyone's got their flaws. There's not a single goddamn person in this world that doesn't have at least one major flaw. Normally, with men, it's going to be, you're not particularly attractive. Men are fucking hideous, generally. We pick at our nails, and we play with our feet and weird shit like that, and eat dirt and stuff. Hand girls handfuls of worms sometimes, just to troll them. We're not attractive creatures. With women, it tends to be, they are fucking psycho, actually. My experience has been that women, if they are attractive and intelligent, are also very cunning, and they will backstab you. Or they're just fucking crazy and, they go off the rails and then you have to try to compensate for it. No offense to the female audience out there, but that is my experience in my own personal life. Just saying. Briefcase blues. My ass is whiter than Michael Jackson's face. Hee hee. Ripsidian, yeah, play with feet as in, like, you're trimming your nails and shit like that and rubbing your calluses and stuff. Men are disgusting. Let's, to all of the men out there, please be honest. We are disgusting physically. Women are more likely to be psychotic. We all have our personal problems, of course. And it's fun, by the way. I mean, this dynamic is why the human race has been perpetuated. Because men are meant to be the grunts, the brute force, so to speak. We're meant to defend the women and the children and go to work and do all of these other things. Women are meant to be all sorts of adorable and cute. You want to pet them like a kitty. But they're fucking insane. It's sort of like owning a cat when you think about it. When you think about it, it's really no different. The cat will randomly grab your hand and claw you to pieces, even though you're trying to pet it and make it happy and stuff like that. Hey, I gave you your frickin' tuna juice. I gave you your water. I gave you your kitty snacks. And now I'm trying to pet you and make you feel nice. And you're still, why are you biting me? What the hell is the problem with you? That's what it's like dealing with a woman. Sometimes, I think that gay dudes probably have it best. I don't have to deal with that shit. But then they have to deal with another man, and they're both ugly, probably. So, yeah. Just saying. Shung Made Sticks, I gotta show you my track record. All 8s and 10s. That's pretty much the same with me, actually. I had a 6 when I was homeless, but that's it. Yeah, I mean, I never expected that I would be able to even communicate with as many attractive women as I have. I never expected that that would happen. Because, I mean, I have wealth, but I'm not rich. I don't look ugly, but I'm certainly not beautiful. I'm certainly not sane. I do not claim that. The only thing I've got going for me is intelligence and charisma and things like that. I never expected that the kind of women that would get with me would ever want to get with me in 1,000 years. I never expected this when I was young. You've got to be a realist. I mean, both of my ex-wives were extremely hot. The girl I'm talking to now is extremely hot, actually. Just saying. I like to do that randomly when I'm in public, when I see some girl with a nice ass or something like that. It's fun, you know. You just have to do it under your breath so you don't get slapped or something like that. Your eyes seek the things that they want. Just watch Silence of the Lambs, for example. Anyway, I am going to go offline. Yes, indeed. I enjoyed this stream very much, but we've run over an hour, and so I need to do a little bit of news docketing. I've got some other things to do. By the way, yes, I will not use your actual real name here, but I do have your note here. Yeah. Not Moskvich, you're not the right one. Shung Maris. Good dude. I'm not sure. Are you actually like a former Marine? Well, there's no such thing as a former Marine, but a Marine, I suppose. Don't use the term former Marine for anyone that's been in the Marine Corps. If they've graduated from training, they're still a Marine. Just saying. "999, he's not extremely intelligent, lol. Stop glazing a man." I am actually a 146 IQ, tested officially, and I've written more books than you've read. I am intelligent. I also know all sorts of other stuff, mainly about biology and chemistry. I loved science as a kid. I am intelligent. Yes, I give myself credit for that and for my charisma. But I'm not beautiful. I'm not beautiful. I realize this. I look like a piece of shit, actually, sometimes. I gotta clean myself up before I can even go live and stuff like that. It's just the way that it works. But it doesn't really matter. Everyone's going to grow old and die. Every single person watching this video will die. Your corpse is not going to look markedly different from mine once it decomposes, dries out, and mummifies in your fucking coffin. Unless you get cremated, then you'll just be a pile of ashes. So, yeah, I guess that's a little bit different. Pile of ashes looks pretty good, too. I like using the fireplace. But yeah, eventually, you'll die. There's nothing that you can do about it. You should probably, by the way, this is the intelligence kicking in, start quantifying it now. Start thinking about it on a more deep level. Most people are like, oh, everyone dies. Okay, but it's very dismissive. I want you to think. This is my instructions for you for your homework today. Think of yourself as dead. And think about what that entails. Realize that it is inevitable. Realize that it will happen. That's the only thing that you have to do. Anyways, I'm going to go offline. And it's pretty funny, actually. My left testicle has more charisma. I know exactly what website you came from. Just saying. Again, intelligence hits in. Yep, you're gonna die. Just saying. Happy New Year's! That's about all. Peace out.